Hi Aries, welcome to your October 2019 Astrology 33 bonus love reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And also, just to let you guys know, I actually will be starting up personal readings again in October. So if you're interested in that, just check out the description of the email for all the information on that. Alright, so with that out of the way, we have a bridging the gap spread in front of us, and the way that works is the cards on the left side represent your energies towards the connection with your main love interest. Cards on the right side represent their energies towards the connection, and these are the past energies, present energies, future energies. And once we get through all those, we'll actually pull some oracle cards for some additional insight. That's where the bridging the gap dynamic comes into play. As far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, and on the right side we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's get to the main spread. Past position on your side, we have the Princess of Coins. So this actually represents it's the equivalent of the Page of Pentacles. So this usually represents either making an offer or in some cases an offer being made to you. Now, what I'm picking up on with this particular energy, when I think about the Rider-Waite version, it's the one page where the actual item isn't completely in their possession. The pentacle's kind of just out of their reach. So for some of you, this can just be saying that maybe you feel like a stable connection was just out of your reach with this person. Or maybe with this energy in particular, factoring in the artwork from this deck, I almost get an energy of reluctance. So maybe some of you were reluctant to extend the offer to this person for whatever reason. Or for some of you, it can be that you were reluctant to accept an offer from the person. So that's more of a vibe I'm picking up on there. Because the page energies to me also represent a 1 foot in, 1 foot out energy sometimes, not fully confident and sure of themselves. So that could be what's going on there in the past, anyway. And then the past energy on their side, we have the 5 of Chalices and the 7 of Swords. So these two cards together, the simplest way to read it would be to say that there was some regret, right? Because the 5 of Cups energy is definitely an energy of regret over some kind of infidelity or just the lies in general. So, maybe they were dishonest with you about something. And what stands out to me here is if we think about the 5 of Cups in most decks, it's just the one person looking at 3 spilled cups, and then there are the 2 cups standing behind them that they're not looking at. But here I get the impression that clearly the female in this situation looks disappointed, and then the male looks like he's the one trying to, make it up to them, getting on down on one knee. I'm not thinking proposal, by the way, before we go there. But, it looks like he's clearly trying to apologize to her, right, and make it up to her, whatever the situation was. And then here we see that there's definitely some kind of disconnect, right? They have their backs to each other. So that's the main vibe I'm picking up on there. And if that's the case, if they're the ones who are trying to come back in and make something up to you, then that definitely would represent that this is you looking at that offer from them, right? And a little bit reluctant as to whether you wanted to accept it or not. Okay, and the present energy on your side, we have illusion. So this is actually the equivalent of the moon card in a regular tarot. So this can just be saying that you're not seeing the situation clearly, and that's one way it could be playing out, saying that, maybe this is you still unsure in the present as to whether you can accept what they were offering, right, when they came back around to you and said, oh, I'm sorry for this, that, and the other, right? This could just be saying that you're still a little bit confused as to whether you want to proceed forward with them. Especially you guys did just have that full moon in Pisces recently, which was in your 12th house. And you guys are going to have a full moon in your sign this month. So a lot of moon energy at play for you guys that could lead to this type of energy. And another way it can be coming across too is it could just be saying that they don't know how to approach you now. Because maybe you really withdrew from them after whatever that situation was in the past. And now they're not sure, what's the best approach to take with you. And the reason I say that could be the case is because in the present position on their side, we have the Knave of Swords. So this is the equivalent of the Page of Swords. And similar to what I was saying about the Page energy here on your side, it's the same type of dynamic where the person Might have that one foot in, one foot out energy, and then there's also that lack of confidence. So this could just be them feeling unsure of how to approach you now, especially if they came in and tried to, romance you and say, oh, I'm sorry about what happened in the past. And this is the vibe that you gave them where, you weren't really too sure if you were going to accept that or not, right? Maybe you had your back turned to them quite literally if we look at the way that they're facing in the spread. So maybe this is them in the present now, maybe wanting to communicate again, but not sure what the best approach is to take. So that's the main vibe that's popping out to me there. And the future position on your side, we have the Prince of Staves. So this is actually the equivalent of the Knight of Wands, which is a Sagittarius type energy. So, it can just be pointing to the fact that you do have Jupiter in that sign moving forward. So some of you might actually be thinking of taking some kind of a trip, a long distance trip, most likely. This can just be saying that you're ready to take some action too. But what stands out to me about it too is if that is the case, and this is you ready to take action, you are still looking away from the cards on their side. So there could be some significance there, which could be saying that now you have decided that you are going to part ways with this person, or wherever you will in the future anyway. And maybe that's what it's saying, that you're going to move away from the person. But what else stands out to me too, though, is if we look at the way he's looking, and I put it back down in the spread, he's looking toward the card at the bottom of the deck on your side, which is the Justice card too. So another way this can be playing out is just saying that that's basically what you're interested in. So you might feel that whatever they might have set up to this point, for example, wasn't good enough, right? But maybe this is you coming to some kind of realization as to what you think would be fair. If there's a way to reconcile and to restore the balance, this might be you taking action towards letting them know, right? Like, look, well, if we're going to make this happen, I need to see XYZ, right? Something along those lines there. And this could just represent being at a distance from someone as well, because what stands out to me there is it looks like there's a guy behind the curtain, right? So to me, I almost feel like she's not even aware that the person's there. So this could just be them, coming to see them from a distance. So maybe it's even them coming to see you as well. That could play out either way. And actually, I should point out that if you guys are feeling as I'm going through these cards that these sound more like your energies and these sound like their energies, then definitely roll with that, especially in this case, because this is a Libra card at the bottom of the deck on your side. And the bottom of the deck on their side, they actually have the Queen of Wands, which is your energy. This is a court card for Aries. So, but it's actually fairly likely that could just be pointing to saying that this is their focus too, trying to think about, okay, how am I going to get Aries back, basically. Because in the future position on their side, we have the Eight of Chalices. Now, usually the Eight of Cups energy represents, you're moving on from something, looking for something more fulfilling, right? But if we look at the artwork in this particular spread, it looks like one person's very much into it and the other one's not really into it. And just from what we've read up to this point, I do have the feeling it would be more that they're in the masculine role here, where they're the ones who are still trying to pursue the connection, and you still might be reluctant to go that route with this person. Like I said, I don't know if it's necessarily a permanent thing. Like I said, the Prince of Staves looking at the Justice card can just be saying that this is you now, coming out of that fog, if you will, and seeing the situation more clearly and, coming to your own conclusion as to what would restore balance, right? Like what you think would be fair. Now, for some of you, that can be obviously reconnecting with the person as long as, they assure you of whatever you need to feel secure in a connection. Or for others of you, like I said, it can mean just moving away from it altogether. And we could see that playing out either way with the energy in that card. So pretty interesting there. We'll see if the Oracle cards add anything to the dynamic here. So first I'm going to try to pull some messages from the Mystic Moon Oracle deck I have here. And for those of you who haven't seen one of these videos from me before, I do pre-shuffle this deck before we start recording. And then I'm actually looking for jumpers here. So first I'll be looking for any unspoken messages from you toward them, and then from them toward you. And what I do is if I don't get any after I shuffle for a while, I just take that as a sign to keep moving. You know, I don't force anything or pull one from the top or anything like that. So we'll see if we get anything. Like I said, first we'll be looking for unspoken messages from you toward them. Okay, nothing coming up yet. I'll give it a few more shuffles though. Okay, nothing there. Now I'll see if we have any unspoken messages from them toward you. Okay, doesn't seem like there's anything coming up there either, so, oh, there we go. Got one. Alright. It says, I can't ignore the signs I'm... Let me get it to focus. Alright, well, there we go. It says, I can't ignore the signs I'm receiving any longer. So, you know, maybe there is some kind of separation, and maybe they were pursuing other interests, and maybe they just weren't clear with you about that. You know, they didn't let you know that there were other people in the dynamic in the past. That's one way I could see these two cards playing out. And, you know, maybe this is just them now, especially too. Look at the artwork there. I just think about how she's looking out the window, right? So that could be like that grass is greener dynamic, right? They're looking at that and thinking about what could be better. And, you know, this could just be saying that maybe at one point they were exploring other options, and now the reason why they seem to be coming back in a bit more aggressively now is, you know, they could have been receiving signs that, you know, it should have been you that they've been with all along, basically. Whether you're going to, you know, accept that or not, I can't say for sure. I'd say it's maybe 40% chance yes, or maybe even 30% chance yes. So a lot of you, I don't know, seems like you might move on, or at the very least set very clear boundaries with the person as for, you know, what needs to happen moving forward. But see if we get anything else from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck, and then we'll wrap up. Same situation here. I did pre-shuffle this deck as well, and then I'm just looking for one jumper to wrap everything up. Okay, got one. All right, the card you guys got is Chop Wood. There's the artwork, and the number is 42. Someone else got that card. I can't remember who it was. It was either a water sign or an air sign, but definitely can't remember exactly who it was. So if you're dealing with one of those two, water or air, check out their video as well. Maybe it'll give you some additional insight. All right, it says, being grounded in everyday experience, humility. The Oracle's message: there are times when the big dream is meant to lie dormant in your consciousness so that you can pay attention to the simple chores in your life. Consider why pruning a tree is the forerunner of delighting in the beautiful blooms when it is in full blossom. The mundane act of pulling off dead leaves, watering the soil, and then leaving it be to let nature take its course is an important step in manifestation. Taking your attention away from your goals brings you into a state of receptivity. This is the deeper purpose for releasing attachment. When you engage in everyday tasks in a meditative, contemplative way, you clear your energy to receive your aha moments, which brings you ever closer to what you seek. So what stood out to me the most about that was actually that last sentence. When it was talking about, Engage in everyday tasks in a meditative, contemplative way. You clear energy for your aha moments. That makes me think of, like I was saying, the illusion energy, where maybe you weren't seeing the situation clearly, but you were determined to get to the bottom of the situation. And then when it says after that, brings you closer to what you seek, we do see the Prince of Staves in the future position looking at justice, right? So if you're seeking justice, it's saying that it could be what helps you get closer to that. All right, the relationship message says nothing is as important right now as just doing what you need to do day to day. Let your heart remember that not everything has to be hard won, passionate, or even obviously meaningful. Relationships and friendships go through lulls when the everyday tasks are at the center of awareness. That is perfect now. Hold hands, wash dishes, make a fire, read a book, share a meal, say nothing, stare into space, pick up socks, tell a dumb joke, and leave space to breathe. The work of your relationship right now is very simple, just to be present. Funny how it takes work to just be. All is well, really. So interesting there. And I don't know. Like I said, for a lot of you, I don't necessarily see if I would picture you guys taking their offer if they do try to come back around. Maybe some of you will. And then with that message in particular, I don't know. Maybe that does add a different dynamic to it, where maybe you guys were just disconnected as far as you were focused on other things. For example, maybe you had a heavier focus on your career matters. Maybe all of those karmic transits going through your 10th house might have made that area of your life a bit more difficult. So maybe you were just focused on that. And then maybe that means that they too were focused on other areas, or maybe because of that, somehow that contributed to them stepping out, which, obviously still isn't an excuse, but could have been some more complexity to it in that regard. But hopefully that message did resonate with you. Like I said, for some of you, I don't necessarily see you taking this person back, even though it does seem like they will be attempting to come back. But hopefully you guys got something out of that. I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.